sixth graders. Today we are going to be studying our new chapter on percents. So what is a percent? What is it? Well, a percent is a really special ratio. So it's a really special ratio that compares a number to 100. Every time we do something with a percent, we're doing it out of 100 and using the number 100 as our comparison. So a percent is a special ratio that compares a number to 100. So we are comparing everything in this section to 100. Percent, it's a ratio, compares 100. It's kind of off, isn't it? Okay, there, that's better. All right. When we are writing percentages, we're actually using a special symbol. So percentages, because they're only out of 100, they have their own symbol. This symbol is a percent sign. So we use a percent sign, and it looks like this. That is a percent sign. We use a percent sign instead of a colon. So like in a normal ratio, you would have ... We're not using that anymore. These would be our dots. So we're using a percent sign instead of a colon. All right, so normal ratios used the colon. We're no longer doing that. Now, your percent signs can come in many different ways. People make them different ways. So you have the one that looks like this, or you can have one that looks like this, like a fancy one. They both mean the exact same thing. So they're both percent signs. You can use either one. Some people like to think that this one actually looks like 100, like here's the 1 and here's the 0 and the 0. But you can use either percent sign. All right, so in a normal everyday ratio, so if we were writing a normal ratio like we did back in chapter 3, if we were doing regular ratios like in chapter 3, we would write them like this: 18 compared to 5. Okay, there's your colon. You had 18 and it's being compared to 5, or 18 out of 5 if it was a fraction, because remember you can write them 18 over 5. You can also write it with a 2, the TO. This means that 18 is compared to 5. Okay, so it's being compared to 5. As a percent, so when we write percentages, oops. Okay, there. Spelling and talking at the same time just don't work for my brain. You could write, instead you would write 18%. And this 18% is being compared to 100. It's not being compared to 5 like over here. This is 18 compared to 100. So here you had 18 compared to 5. This one, every single time, it's being compared to 100. Every time it's being compared to 100. All right, so let's talk about this just like a little bit more. So let's say that I had the number 60%. Get a new color. All right, so I have the number 60%. Okay, 60%. 60% is like saying 60 out of 100. 60 out of 100. It's also like saying 60 over 100. Okay, so you have 60%, which means 60 out of 100, but it also means 60 over 100. Remember when we wrote our fractions up here? Like this one was 18 over 5. Here, instead, it's 60 over 100. Everything is being compared to 100. So I have 60 as my part. This is the part. This means per, right? So 60 per 100. So I have like my 100 down on the bottom. All my colors going. I feel like they're just being eaten. Okay, this is your whole. Okay, the whole total, so part to whole. So the part being compared to the whole. This is like saying I have 60 pennies out of 100 pennies. So like percent literally means for every 100 pennies. So cents, when you're making $1, you have 100 cents in $1, 100 pennies. This is like saying 60 pennies out of a whole dollar. So thinking of it like money. This is your whole right here, if we were writing this as a percentage. And then this is your part. Okay, so the part, this is like the pennies, right? 60 pennies. And this is the whole, meaning out of 100 pennies. That was really sloppy writing, sorry. Okay, all right, let's have another one. Okay, let's try another one. So let's do example A. We can make fractions out of percentages. So if I have a fraction that looks like 35%, this literally means as a fraction 35 over 100. So as a fraction, so let's see, write fractions. But we need to make sure that it's in simplest form. So 100 is where we always want to go, but we also want to simplify it as well. So if we were to simplify this and create an equivalent fraction, we could divide by 5. So if I were to divide by 5 over 5, I would get 20 and 7, or 7/20. These three things are all equivalent. 35% equals 35 over 100, and it also equals 7 over 20. All of these things are equivalent. All right, let's do another one. Let's say that I have let's start with the same colors. Okay, let's say that I have 6%. If I have 6%, that's the same thing as saying 6 over 100, right? Or I could write it as 0.6 since there's like a 0 here, but whatever, it's 6 over 100. I could also then divide by 2. So if I divide by 2 over 2, I get an equivalent fraction. I get 3 over 50. 3 over 50. So this percent right here is equivalent to this one, which is equivalent to this one. They're all equivalent. Okay, let's look at one last problem. If I had a percentage that was like 174%, this means that I have more than 100%, right? So if I have more than 100%, I have a greater fraction. So my fraction becomes improper. So I would just still, same process. I would write this as 174 over 100. Now I can take this and I can write it like an improper fraction. I have 1 whole with 74 over 100. And I can simplify this down to 1 and 37 fiftieths if I divided it in half. All of these are equivalent. So they're all equivalent. You can do the same thing with a number that is bigger than 100. All right, it is your turn. Time for some try-its. All right, so go ahead and make these percents into fractions. So number 1, I have 5%. And number 2, 83%. Okay, go ahead and make both of these into fractions for me, and then come back when you are ready to see your answer. Here we go. So, oh wait, let's just keep doing the same color so I don't confuse you. So 5% is equal to 5 over 100. And then I can divide this down by 5 over 5. And I get 1 over 20. This is equivalent to this, which is equivalent to this. All right, same thing over here. I have 83 over 100 because that really literally means 83 over 100. So 83 over 100. And that one is already simplified because you cannot simplify 83 anymore. It's already a prime number. There we go. All right, 6th graders, how did you do on that? Making fractions into percents. Percents to fractions. So we start with a percent, we make a fraction. Now what we're going to do is turn the page, and we are going to turn fractions into percents. All right, so the title of this section is working backwards right now, and we are going to make fractions into percentages. All right, so here we're just working backwards from where we started. So if I have the number, 3 over 50, this is not 3%. Not 3%. The reason is because it's not over 100. Our fraction always has to be over 100. So I need to make this an equivalent fraction over 100. So how do I get from 50 to 100? Well, I multiply by 2. And on the top, I have to do the same thing. So 3 times 2 is 6. I am now over 100, so now I can turn this into 6%. Because 6 over 100 is the same thing as 6%. How about this one? This problem says 9 over 1,000. Okay, well, 9 over 1,000, well, that doesn't work because this is not 9%. It's not 9% because this is 1,000, not 100. Again, I have to get it to be over 100. This is my goal. So, to get from 1,000 to 100, I actually have to divide by 10. So I need to divide by 10 and divide by 10. Okay, what? 9 divided by 10? Well, 9 divided by 10 gives me 0.9. This is a weird rational number. Okay? This number is rational. This is an irrational number. This is not like a real number. We wouldn't normally write decimals in our fractions, but because this is a special type of ratio, it's okay. Now we can take this and we can turn this into a percentage, and we get 0.9 or 9/10 of a percent. All right, let's just do one more just in case. So letter C, if I have 42 over 20, we need to make this into 100, right? It has to go to 100. So to get from 20 to 100, I have to multiply by 5. So I'm going to multiply by 5 to get the 100. And up here, I need to multiply by 5 to get to 100. And then I can put that right here. So out here to this, no, let's just do it over here. Okay, 42 times 5. That gives me 10, 21, 210. Okay, now I have 210, and I can put this as a percentage. 210%. I did awesome on my test if I got 210%. That's going way above and beyond. Okay, it's your turn for some try-its. Here are your try-its. Okay, try-it number 1 for you is... Try-it number 1 down below, which is actually try-it number 5 in the book. It says 31 over 50. And your next try-it is 8 over 10. All right, go ahead, 6th graders, hit pause right now so you don't hear me solving this. And then when you're ready, go ahead and hit play. All right, so I need to figure out how to get this to be 100. So I'm going to multiply by 2 because 50 times 2 is 100. And 31 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 62. So this equals 62%. All right, and then the last one. I need to get this out of 100. So 10 times 10 gives me 100. 8 times 10 gives me 80. So this is equal to 80% because I'm taking the number that's on top of the 100. All right, 6th graders, it is now time for you to tell me, what are percentages? What are they? So answer your essential question. What are percentages? And give me your rate your understanding of fractions to percents, fractions to percentages, and percentages to fractions. So go ahead and give me your understanding, rate it. And then when you are finished, you can head on over to Google and ask for help, or you may pull up your practice work on Big Ideas. As always, thank you so much for all of your hard work, and make it a great day the Cougar way.